village, Munda. So he's going to present something on Vedic astrology.
Hare Krishna. Good afternoon, all. Thank you very much for allowing me to present this topic. My topic is Surya-siddhAnta based computation of the true positions of the planets. So, yesterday in philosophy session, Saraswati Hall, we were hearing about 14 subjects of knowledge. Angani Vedam Chatvaro Memamsa Nyaya Vistara Dharma Shastram Puranam Cha Vidya Hi Eta Chaturdasha. So traditionally, all our Vedic literatures have been subgrouped into 14 divisions. 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, and Mimamsa, Nyaya, Dharma Shastra, and Puranas. But some say, in some other Vedic literatures, it says that there are 18. 4 Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Vedanta. 4 Upanga Shastras, Purana, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharma, and 6 Vedangas. We'll see about this. And 4 Upavedas, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva, and Arthashastra. In Siddhanta Shiromani, Bhaskacharya says that these 6 Vedangas are compared to 6 bodily limbs of the Virata Purusha. Shiksha is compared to the nose, and Vyakarna is compared to the mouth, Chanda is compared to the legs, Nirukta is compared to the ears, Kalpa is compared to the hands, Jyotisha is compared to the eyes of the Virata Purusha. So kindly observe, Shiksha is basically pronunciation, nose plays a vital role. Vyakarna is about grammar, mouth, spelling plays a vital role. Chanda, meter, based on the meter the first discussion goes. We also walk through our legs. Nirukta, it is the meaning. We understand the meaning of words through our ears. And Kalpa is a procedure to perform different sacrifices. We perform through hands. And then Jyotisha, it is about eyes. Generally, we hear the proverb that Sarvendriyanam Nayanam Pradhanam. Among all the angas of the body, the eyes are the most important. Similarly, in the Jyotish Shastras, among the 6 Vedangas, considered to be the most important Shastras, which guide a person's day-to-day activities. They are compared to the Nagamani on the head of the snake, which is very valuable and very difficult to get in that way. And Acharya says that among the Jyotish Shastra, there are 3 categories of scriptures: Siddhanta, Tantra, and Karana. A scripture to be known as Siddhanta, it should describe the movements of the heavenly bodies from the beginning of the creation, from Srishti Arambha Kala, till the end of the day of Lord Brahma. Questions and their answers, 2 types of mathematics, creation of the groups of living entities, positions of the planets, positions of the earth, heavenly bodies, eclipses, conjunctions, tubular signs, and arcs to be called a Siddhanta. The difference is, a Siddhanta scripture talks about what's happening in the outer space from the beginning of the day of Brahma to the end of the day of Brahma. And a Tantra Shastra talks about the computation of the position of the planets within certain time, like within Kali Yuga, within Manchitra Yuga. And a Karana Shastra talks about computation of the planets maybe few years, a decade or century. It is like very close approximation. So like that, in the ancient history, we had 18 Siddhantas. Among them, 3 were directly spoken by the deities. Brahma Siddhanta spoken by Brahma, Surya-siddhAnta spoken by Surya, Soma-siddhAnta spoken by Soma, and remaining Siddhantas were spoken by different sages on whose name the names are mentioned. But among these 18, due to the influence of time, most of them were lost. By the time Varahamira compiled his book known as Panchasiddhanta, 505 CE, we are only left with 5 Siddhantas: Brahma Siddhanta, Surya-siddhAnta, Paulisha, Romaka, and Vasishtha Siddhantas. Remaining 13 were gone in the effect of time. So out of these 5, we are trying to discuss from Surya-siddhAnta, what is the Surya-siddhAnta is trying to offer us. And many other acharyas like the famous astronomer Aryabhatta, He wrote his Aryabhatiya based on Brahma-siddhAnta. And Bhaskara too wrote his Siddhanta Shiromani based on Surya-siddhAnta. Like that, all the Acharya's works which we come across, they are all based on these original Siddhantas. So Surya-siddhAnta begins with offering prayers unto the Supreme Absolute Truth. And it says that, desiring to understand what's happening in the outer space, Mayadanava performed severe austerities to please Lord Surya. And Surya then spoke the entire Surya-siddhAnta unto Mayadanava. Initially, he talks about the time divisions. So he divides imperceivable time, starting with Truti, which is about 10 to the power minus 5 seconds or something like that. And then perceivable time, starting with Prana, which is approximately about 4 seconds. So like that, it goes up to 1 year. 1 year is about 365.2587565 days, according to Surya-siddhAnta. And then it further goes. Our 1 year is 1 day for the Devatas. And according to Devata time period, 12,000 Devata years is one Chaturyuga, consisting of Satyayuga, Treta-yuga, Dwapara-yuga and Kali-yuga. And the Devatas live for 1 Manvantara Kala. We live for 100 years, Devatas live for 1 Manvantara Kala. That is equal to 71 such Chaturyugas, which is in terms of Devata years, in terms of human years. And then 1 Manvantara after another Manvantara, there is a Sandhi Kal where the entire community of Devatas will change. Just like after every 5 years, we have change in our parliament based on elections. So Devatas do change during the Sandhi Kala, which is equal to 1 Satyayuga time period. And like that, in a day of Brahma, there are 1,000 Chaturyugas. The same will be the night of Lord Brahma. Like that, Lord Brahma lives for 100 years. He had 360 days in every year. In every day, there is 12 hours day, 12 hours night, which is equal to 1,000 Chaturyugas time. As of now, Brahma already completed 50 years. Currently, his 51st year is going on. Out of 100 years lifespan of Brahma, 50 years already completed. This is 51st year, first month, first day, which is divided into 14 Manvantaras, out of which 6 Manvantaras already completed. This is according to Surya-siddhAnta and all the Siddhantas, all the Vedic literatures. Currently, the 7th Manvantara is going on, which extends for 71 Divyayugas, out of which 27 already passed, 28 is running now. In the 28th, after the completion of the Satyayuga, Sun God spoke Surya-siddhAnta to Mayadanava. This was the exact time which is given in the book. This is the time I am speaking this Surya-siddhAnta unto you. And afterwards, after the completion of Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, in the current Kali Yuga, we have already passed 5,123 years. Till now, we have already passed 6 Manvantaras, 7 Manu Sandhis, and 27 Chaturyugas in the 7th Manu period, and 1 Satyayuga. By then, Surya-siddhAnta was spoken. These were the number of years from the beginning of the day of Brahma. And to the current beginning of Kali Yuga, these were the number of years. And this year, today, 2022, these were the number of years completed from the beginning of Brahma's day. And now, on my question, how did you get this number 5123? Of course, we have many references from Puranas, but I will show you one reference from Aryabhatiya, which Aryabhatta himself says, who was there around 476 to 550 CE. He is the author of Aryabhatiya and Aryabhatta Siddhanta. And he gives values for pi, and he also talks about the beginning of the day to be the midnight 12 night. And while completing his Aryabhatiya, he talks about when he completed this Aryabhatiya. He says, Shashtabdanam Chastir Yada Veditastrayascha Yugapada Trayadika Vimshatir Abdasta Deha Mama Janmonotita. He says that when I have completed this Aryabhatiya, I am 23 years old. And by this year, 60 into 60 times years of Kali Yuga had completed. So that corresponds to 29th March of Shaka era 398 or 1499 AD, when he was 23 years old. So we can reduce the beginning of Kali Yuga from this. 3600 years minus 23 minus 476 plus 2022. So by rearranging these numbers, we get to 3102 minus 1 plus 2022. And this is CE and this is BC. 3102 BC and 2022 to CE. So we get 5123 years of Kali Yuga. And it is said that astronomers say that Kali Yuga began on February 18, 3102 BC, which is Mesh Sankranti. Sun was entering into Mesha. So then Surya-siddhAnta said that though the Brahmas they began long back, but Brahma himself took some time to create all the living species. The humans, devatas, sages, plants, aquatics, reptiles, everything, even the planets. The planets, the Navagrahas started moving after a time period of 474 into 100 Devata years. So that much time period need to be subtracted from the total number of years we have calculated till current day. So that we can get exact number of years for which the planets are put into motion. The sun, moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu are moving in the outer space. So these are the number of years in our human years. So of course these are all same calculations. It says that this has begun, the planets are put into motion during the middle of the fourth Treta Yuga, the fourth cycle of the Treta Yuga. That time it was the beginning of Sunday and it was midnight in Lanka. The starting point of the planetary motion is Sunday beginning and midnight in Lanka. So then the question comes, what is Lanka? Then Surya-siddhAnta gives the definition of Lanka. The line that passes through the place of the Rakshasas, that is Lanka, Rakshasalaya, and the Devatas on the Sumeru mountain, on which there are cities like Rohitaka, Avanti, and Sannihita lake, is the prime meridian. According to our scriptures, the prime meridian is a line that passing through all these important cities. And sometimes Lanka is also considered to be the intersection point of the prime meridian as well as the equator of the earth. Zero longitude, zero latitude point. But according to our modern science, the zero longitude latitude point is taken as Null Island, which is in Atlantic Ocean, 600 kilometers away from the West Africa in the Gulf of Guinea. So here if you draw all the line to these cities, which are given this Ujjain, Rohtak and Kurukshetra, we get a line passing through like this. You see all these places, you see the value of longitude is about 75.8 degrees east, 75.8 degrees east, 76 very closely. But more or less it gives approximation. And Lanka, Sri Lanka, what we know today, it is at 7.87 degrees north, 80.77 degrees east. It is not 75.8. So, according to Surya-siddhAnta, Sri Lanka is not Lanka. Lanka is supposed to be located at 0 north and 75.8 or 76 east. That should be the point of Lanka. So, with that background information, now let us discuss how the planets are moving. Surya-siddhAnta explained that the 27 nakshatras along with the 12 zodiac signs, they are continuously revolving, being impelled by the inconceivable force of Supreme Lord, and they are taking the Navagrahas along with them. Though they are taking the Navagrahas along with them, the Navagrahas always lag behind. They can't keep up with the speed of the nakshatras. The daily, we see sun is rising in the east and setting in the west and going around, and the motion is continuously going on. That motion is called as daily westward motion because the planets are moving from east to west according to our daily nomenclature. But they are lagging behind with respect to Kala Chakra, that zodiac wheel. The relative speed is called as daily eastward motion. So Surya-siddhAnta talks about mainly the daily eastward motion. What is the relative speed based on which we get to understand that the planets are slowly lagging behind and they are moving from one nakshatra to other nakshatra, one zodiac sign to other zodiac sign. Here if you see, the Kala Chakra is moving around and taking sun and moon along with it. But the dotted line shows the moon is slowly lagging behind. For one round of Kala Chakra, the sun lags behind by 1 degree, the moon lags behind by approximately 13 degrees. And this goes on continuously. Kala Chakra is consisting of 12 zodiac signs and 27 nakshatras put together. So as the sun and moon are moving around, we see the half the portion of the earth globe is bright and other half is the dark. That's how the day and night happens as per the Surya-siddhAnta. So then Surya-siddhAnta gives these numbers. These are the numbers. This many number of times the planets complete their mean eastward revolutions. And the backward motion in one Manvantara, sorry, in one Chaturyuga, they complete this many revolutions. And then these are the numbers of their normal daily motion. That means in one Manvantara, sun, if you take this many days are there. So this many times the sun and other planets are rising and setting. And by the way, this many times they are going in the counterclockwise direction. And if we divide this by this, we get the number of days required for each and every individual planet to cover the zodiac once. This is the value of 1 year. Sun, Mars, Mercury will take exactly 1 year. 365.258756 days. And Moon takes 27.32 days. Mars takes 1.8 years. Jupiter takes 11.86 years. Saturn takes approximately 30 years. And Rahu and Ketu take 18.6 years. And per day they are lagging behind by this much. These are like values we can deduce from that. And then the Puranas also give the information about this, but they give a very approximate and general information. They say that Moon completes one revolution in a month approximately. Our Sun completes its revolution 1 year. It does not give exactly how many number of days are there in 1 year. It says 1 year. And Venus, Mercury, Mars Mercury said that sometimes they go ahead of Sun, sometimes behind Sun. Later on we see in one simulation how it is. And Mars generally takes 15 days, 145 days to cover one zodiac sign, if not traveling in retrograde motion. Thus it comes to 1.5 years. But in the previous slide we saw Rahu takes 1.8 years. So when it is going through retrograde, it will take more time. So like that. The other planets also, the information is given. So these are all same information. So now, here we can see on a normal day-to-day observation, all the planets, here we have Sun, Mercury, Venus, red one is the Mars, Jupiter and the Saturn. Here we have Moon, this is Rahu and this is Ketu, and this diamond symbol is about the heavens. So normally they all move from east to west. But while moving, they are lagging behind with respect to the starting point of the Kala Chakra. In due course of time, they fall behind. That how much they fall behind, we observe. In a month, the moon is making one complete round. At the starting point, moon was there, sun was there, that was Amavasya. After 30 days, again moon comes in front of sun, that is another Amavasya. In another 30 days, again moon comes in front of sun, that is another Amavasya. So by the way, you see other planets are also moving slowly according to whatever ratio they were presented. So this is how the relative motion of the planets with respect to Kala Chakra has been presented in the Surya-siddhAnta. So we'll go ahead. So then, that in addition to this general mean motion, there are 3 more motions known as Shigra, Manda and Pada. So what are they? So basically, Shigra, Manda motions are explained with the help of epicycles. So when the planet is moving in the 4th or 1st quadrant, the Shigra or Manda pulls the planet so that its speed will increase. When the planet is moving in the 2nd or 3rd quadrant, they actually restrain the motion of the planet so that it moves slowly. This is how the motion becomes variable. It is not always fixed or constant. Because of which, their actual position changes from where we are expecting them to be. So in order to explain this concept of Shigra motion, Manda motion, Surya-siddhAnta gives what would be the radius of these small circles, these epicycles, in the name of Paradhi, Shigra Paradhi values and Manda Paradhi values. And these values vary from quadrant to quadrant. So we have the mean motion of the orbit. Here is Shigra, Manda circle and Shigra circle, one upon the other. So overall motion of the planet will change. The mean motion is here. Because of Manda, it goes here. Because of Shigra, it ultimately goes here. So this will be the actual position of the planet. And even within Shigra Manda cycle also, the radius keeps varying. At one point of time it is more, at other point it is less. This motion, this change in Manda radius is what we hear as eccentricity of the orbit. The orbits of our planets are eccentric in nature. They are not perfectly circular. They are elliptical. That is because of the Manda motion of the planets. So now with the help of all this Manda Shigra motion, at any given point of time, we can find out what is the true position of the planets. From the beginning of Brahma's day till today and till the end of the Brahma's day. Wherever any point of time, if you identify, according to that, we can find out the position of all these planets. The formula is very simple. We know the mean position, we know the Shigra position. We can calculate the XY coordinates for the mean position, XY coordinates for the Shigra position or Manda position, and we can find out what would be the difference of angle. That is called Shigra Phala for Shigra circle and Manda Phala for Manda circle. A simple basic algebra. So now, Surya-siddhAnta says that we need to apply 4 corrections to all these planets' mean position. First one is half Shigra Phala correction, then upon that half Manda Phala correction. Then based on these 2 corrections, we have to calculate full Manda Phala, apply it, and then based on this, we have to do full Shigra Phala. First Shigra Phala, then Manda Phala, then Manda Phala, then Shigra Phala. This is the order in which we have to make the correction. We'll see one example for after the creation of after putting the planets into motion, after 80 days, what happens? So after 80 days, we can find out the mean position of the Mars that comes around 41.9 degrees, and Shigra position is about 78.8 degrees. This is 41 degrees, this is 78 degrees. So we can calculate the overall difference in the position, that Shigra Phala, which comes around 14 degrees. And then we only have to apply half Shigra Phala. So from this was the original mean, and this is corrected Shigra Phala. From here to here is 14 degrees, but we need to take only half point is here. And here draw a Manda circle, and Manda position is only 0 degrees. Manda correction is only 4.6 in 10 minus 8 degrees, it is 0. Then final position comes here. This is the final correction. So that will be around minus 7 degrees with respect to this planet. It's coming down. So like that, and taking these 2 values, use them to use for doing third correction. So apply a Manda circle to the mean, and then do the correction. And whatever correction we get, minus 6.7 degrees, use it and apply it to Shigra correction. Keep the Shigra circle upon the Manda position of the epicycle. So this is Shigra circle, and Shigra is about 78 degrees. Here it is. And overall correction, the final corrected value will be 15 degrees with respect to the mean. This is how we need to do these 4 corrections. And 7.1 minus 3.8 minus 6.7 15.3. So this is the original position, and the final corrected position will be 50 degrees. So thus we get the actual positions. So these are the values for all the planets, and this is the position of the planets. This is the procedure with which we have to calculate the true position of the planets. So now with those calculations, we'll see how the orbits vary. This red dotted line was the mean orbit of the Mars. Now this line, the thick line where the Mars planet is going, this is the shift of the orbit of Mars to the right hand side due to Manda epicycle. And it also becomes elliptical. This radius becomes more and this radius becomes less. The circular orbit becomes elliptical. And then if we apply Shigra upon this Manda circle, then the entire shape of the orbit completely changes. If you only take Shigra, so this is how the orbit changes. So that's why we always hear that this year, after every 2 years, Mars is coming close to Earth. That is when our scientists are sending satellites to the Mars, mission Mangal, etc. Because looking at when it is nearby Earth, during that time they try to do all this. So this is how we can see the corrections how they are. So the Manda orbit of the Mars, Shigra orbit of the Mars, and combined Manda Shigra orbit of the Mars, it becomes like this. Similarly, for other planets, this is for Jupiter. Jupiter we have constant loops, and for Saturn we have 30 such. And then this is for Venus, and this is for Mercury, and this is for Sun. Sun only has Manda, that's why it only has Manda. And this is for Moon. The Moon's orbit also goes come. That's why we always hear about something called super moon. Whenever the full moon day, when the moon is coming close to us, we see the big moon. That is called super moon. That is because of this Manda motion. So now the final one example we see, and then we'll close for our permission. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, for which we have calculated the number of days elapsed from the beginning of the creation, and then we can reduce the position of all the planets on that particular day. This was the birth chart which was prepared by Sri Neelambar Chakravarti, who is the grandfather of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and which was represented by Bhaktivinoda Tagore and evaluated. And he says the position of the planets, where the planets are located, etc. So it happened to be on 1486 AD, Shaka era 1407, and 18th February, full moon day of month of Falguna. So till 1486 AD, how many years are elapsed in the current Kali Yuga? We need to calculate. And we have to add it to the number of years elapsed to the beginning of Kali Yuga. Total number of years we get. Multiply with the number of days in a year. So we get total number of years to the beginning of this 1486 AD. And then multiply it with 1.019159. This is a conversion factor which converts the solar days into lunar days. So we get total number of tithis. So we can find out what was the tithi on that day when sun is entering into Mesha. The year changes when sun enters into Mesha. The tithi was 13.3. 13.3 means it is bright lunar tithi of Chaitra Mas. 1 to 13 is Shukla Paksha, 1 to 15 is Shukla Paksha, 16 to 30 is Krishna Paksha in the month of Chaitra, which is the beginning of the lunar year. So 13.3 is the 14th day, Chaturdashi. So that is, it's in that way. So 14th bright lunar tithi, Chaitra Shukla Chaturdashi. And from the Chaitra Shukla Chaturdashi, we need to count to how many number of lunar tithis have elapsed to the birthday of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because lunar days don't change, solar days keep changing. We have 365 days, 360 days, variation is there. Lunar tithis are fixed. So we need to calculate what are the total number of years. So total number of tithis elapsed in that year. They were around 331.67. Convert them into solar days, add that to the total number of days to the beginning of the solar year. We get total number of solar days to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day. So Lord Chaitanya appeared 6th PM, around 6th PM in the evening. That was the time sun is setting, moon is rising. There was a lunar eclipse during his appearance time. And if you convert the number, if you find out which was the day, it comes to Saturday. The day DD is Saturn. So these are the position of all the planets on that particular day. So correction with the corrections. So this is the birth chart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he appeared, you see here is sun, here is Rahu, here is Earth, here is Ketu, and here is Moon. So because of Ketu, there was a lunar eclipse. Sun is setting and Moon is rising. India is here. So when this position, setting position, this is the rising position. Here Moon is rising, Sun is setting. Because of Ketu, there was a lunar eclipse. During that time, this is evening 6 PM approximately. Same thing. So, based on the values we reduced, these are the positions of the planets with respect to the Rashi and Nakshatra. And which Srila Bhaktivinoda Tagore, which he gives, according to, he is also one of the astrologers. He gave the birth chart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is this. Both are exactly matching. The Rashi number and Nakshatra number, both are exactly matching. And then, one final example, recently we had Gita Jayanti on 3rd of December. So, of course, from Mahabharata, Ramayana, we have various things. So, Pandavas, after Kurukshetra battle, Pandavas ruled for 36 years. And Lord Krishna lived for 125 years. So, with that information is given various places in Mahabharata and Ramayana, not Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. So, going backward about 36 to 37 years, we can find out that when was Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Acharya say, especially Madhvacharya, in his commentary to Mahabharata, he says that there were 3 eclipses happened during the battle of Mahabharata. So according to him, the first solar eclipse happened 11 days before the day of Gita Jayanti. Before Gita was spoken, the battle of Kurukshetra, 11 days before there was solar eclipse. And 4 days after Gita was spoken, there was lunar eclipse. And then there was second solar eclipse after 18 days after Gita was spoken. Mahabharata battle began on the day of lunar eclipse. On the 14th day when Arjuna was supposed to kill Jayadratha in the evening, in order to orchestrate the entire drama, there was a eclipse, solar eclipse. We generally hear and see in the movies like Krishna sent his Sudarshan Chakra and there was covering of the sun and there was darkness. By the way, there was also an eclipse, according to Madhvacharya. And Madhvacharya says that Gita was not spoken on the day of the beginning of battle. Gita was spoken 4 days before the beginning of battle, or 3 days before the beginning of battle. Gita was spoken on Ekadashi. Battle began on Pavaneshwar. So in that way, he says in his commentary to Mahabharata. So these are the position of the planets during the Gita Jayanti. So this is the position of the planets during Gita Jayanti. So now let us see. Okay, these are the position of the Rashidan. Here, first solar eclipse 11 days before the Gita Jayanti. There was eclipse due to Rahu. Solar eclipse. Sun here, moon here, Rahu here, Earth here. All are in the same line. 4 days after eclipse, 4 days after Gita Jayanti, there is lunar eclipse. Sun is here, Earth is here, Ketu is here, moon is here. And then on the 14th day of the battle, when Jayadratha supposed to be killed in the evening around 6 p.m., there was another solar eclipse. So like this, any given thing we can actually try to compute the position of the planets based on the formula given in Surya-siddhAnta. So for the recent Gita Jayanti in the 3rd December, so this is the chart when it was spoken. So these are the position of the planets, and from astro stage, I have taken the position of the planets on the particular time and date. So some of them are slightly differing. The difference is about -2 degrees, -3 degrees, +3 degrees, like that. Some difference there. We need to find out. We are still working in progress. So this is what is in progress we are working on. So this is a small presentation I wanted to present on this occasion. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.